Welcome everybody to the Caring Campus Big Kickoff. So glad to see all these smiling faces. Welcome, we're so glad you're here. Our team has been putting together this presentation, working to this moment right here since early spring, actually a little bit last year, early spring, and we are more than excited to be presenting to you today. So before we get started, I would like our presenters to introduce themselves so you know who's chatting with you today.
Hey everybody, my name is Josh Woodward. I work in the Career Center.
My name is Mitzi and I work in the Welcome Center.
My name is Meredith Marasco and I work in Admissions and Records.
My name is Janine Gomez and I work at the Career Center as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Alicia Mendez-Val Hernandez and I work at CAS.
How about a round of applause for our presenters over here? Yes. I'm Chris Westbay. I'm a media production specialist. I'm also the co-chair of Caring Campus along with Alicia. Like I say, our team has been working on this since spring, but just so you know, it's not just the people you see up here in front of the room. These right here is pretty much our founding group for Caring Campus. When we put out the word that we're going to be doing this work, these are the people that jumped up and said, I want to be a part of it. And so they have been integral in planning this right here and even more. And as you can see, a lot of people behind the works. And we've had some new people come, some people leave. As you may remember, Quinn, unfortunately, Long Beach stolen from us. And we've got some new faces up here. Is this the right slide?
Yeah.
No? Yeah? No? Wait, someone's missing. Who's missing? Oh! That's who's missing. You're missing. So after the end of today, you all are going to be fully versed in what Caring Campus is about. You will be a shirt-wearing representative ally of Caring Campus. That's at least our hope. So before we get into it, I want to start off with a quick little activity about Butte College culture. That's one of the things that I feel is one of our strongest points here at Butte College is the culture. And I want to see over here, raise your hand if you have ever heard the phrase, students first. Oh, that's a lot of hands. Keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. Have you also heard of warm referrals? Oh, even more hands. Keep them up, keep them up. I want to see all the hands. And our third one, Ask Me booth. Look at this right here. Right now, look over, find somebody else with their hand up and give them a high five. You are already doing 3/5 of the work of Caring Campus if you are familiar with these and you are actually doing these behaviors. But I got another question. I just want to put this in your noodle for a second. Where did you learn these? How do they persist? They weren't in orientation. They weren't in a handbook. They weren't assigned by your supervisor. Yet, it's so prevalent here at Butte College because it's part of our culture. But we have the risk of losing these behaviors if there's not anything that is there to give it some intention and give it longevity. Okay? And so that is where Caring Campus comes in. Hey, see? It all connects. So what is Caring Campus? Caring Campus is a proven, evidence-based method of improving student success and retention by creating personal connections between students and staff on the campus. This is just a fancy way of saying we're connecting with students. We're making them feel like they belong at Butte College. And the reason that's important, people a whole lot smarter than I spent a lot of money and did some research and found out that when students feel connected to their college and connected to the staff at their college, then success rates increase. That's more completion, more graduation, more CTE, more persistence, more transfers. And for those of you who are familiar with the SCIF, everyone know the SCIF, Student-Centered Funding Formula. If you're familiar with that, and of course if you also like your COLAs, we all know that our SCIF needs to get up by 2028 if we want to keep getting it. So you got a little skin in the game here too. It's not just for students. The Institute for Evidence-Based Change is the group that actually did all that research, and they're the ones who trained us. on how to do them. And the behaviors that we do is they found out if we just do these 5 behaviors, if we do this as staff, then we can increase all that success. It has the full support from the Chancellor's Office. Actually, the Chancellor's Office is the one that paid IABC to train us. And then we've also got the support of leadership all the way up at the top of SAS, and we are well on the way of becoming an institutional committee so that we will have the longevity to keep this going. So big question you may be asking, why classified? Why us? Why is it always us? And one of the big reasons is because we're student facing. We're your bus drivers. We are working up in the cafeteria. We're admissions and records, financial aid. We're on your groundskeepers. We're your custodians. We are all over a campus, and we are student facing. And in addition to that, we are the largest constituent group on campus. So simply put, there's more of us than anyone else. So if a student is in need, they're more likely to be running into a classified to look for help, because we're there. And we're approachable. There's a power dynamic in the classroom where a student who may be struggling probably doesn't really feel comfortable asking their teacher for help. But when it's your bus driver who you've already told your life story to 20 times, it's a lot easier to communicate that to somebody that's approachable, that you know and you're comfortable with, and knows that you're not going to be judged or graded on it. So, how do we do it? It's pretty simple. We got the high 5 behaviors. I like to remember them this easy. There's 3 I's and 2 W's. The first I is identification. The second I is eye contact. See what I did there? The third I is interdepartmental awareness. The first W is warm handoffs, and the second one is warm welcomes. But you ain't got to take it from me. We got experts over here from Caring Campus. They're going to teach you a little bit more in depth about the high 5 behaviors.
We're going to play a little game here. The game is called Student or Employee. Under door number 1, we have this handsome fellow. Who wants to take a guess? Student or employee?
Employee.
You? You're right. Good job. That's Jordan. He works in the Career Center. Now, you seem like a young fella to me. Do you think if he was walking around without an identification, a student would actually come up and think he was a staff member? No, probably not. On to number 2. Student or employee? Student. Student? She's an instructor in computer science, is that right? All right. And lastly, student or employee? Which one, student or employee?
She was both. This is the trick question.
Employee, that's Elise. So, the idea is, if we have a hard time guessing if this is a student or employee, imagine a student who's new, confused, shy. They may have a hard time figuring that out. So that's why wearing IDs is so important. Some simple things that we can do, both in person and virtually, to help students would be, in person, wearing ID tags or lanyards. Another thing you can do, if you're so inclined, is to have some flair, a la Office Space. Virtually, it's a good thing to greet students with your name and your department. And lastly, first thing you do when you talk to someone on the phone is get what their name and their contact information is, just in case they are disconnected. Why you should do IDs? Invitation to friendliness. It's a disarming gesture. I'm not talking Monty Python, just flesh room disarming, but it's a way for people to approach. It personalizes and humanizes people. Reduces psychological distance, and it's a mini sacrifice. And it's just a little one. I know anonymity is important, but I'll give you a little anecdote why this is important. On the first day of school, a student came up to me because I was wearing my ID tag. And he didn't know where drafting 52 was. I forget exactly what the class was. I was like, what classroom is it? So I took him over to the media center. I learned his name was Ian. Learned about him, learned that he was from Loma Rica, commuted out to Sutter, and was finally coming here to be an engineer. And I wouldn't have done that if it weren't for my ID badge. So ID badges help foster student welcoming.
Yeah, all right. Segues. Thank you, Josh. All right, so I'm going to be talking about eye contact or the 10-foot rule. So who here has heard of the 10-foot rule? 10-foot rule, okay, good amount of you. Does anyone want to share with me what it is?
10 feet from someone, you smile at them, make eye contact.
Cool. You just like read it off. You read it off the card. You read it down. Awesome. Yeah. So the 10-foot rule is when you acknowledge. I mean, it derived from like customer service, but when you acknowledge a customer within 10 feet, or in our case, a student, and you acknowledge them, and you do it by smiling, greeting, etc. And that's what I'm going to cover today. All right. Well, so I have a question for you guys. So who here likes shopping at Walmart? Oh, crickets. No one. What about Target? Okay, we have some more hands. Okay, yeah, so do you guys ever realize how when you go to Walmart, you can't ever like find anyone, you're hitting that button. If you do see someone, they're like avoiding you, not making eye contact. Overall, it's just not a very welcoming environment, and you just kind of don't want to go back there. But I mean, Target, on the other hand, they're just like, they're way better at the 10-foot rule. They acknowledge you when you walk in the door, they greet you. And overall, it's just a way more friendly, welcoming environment, which is why we tend to want to go back there, even though it's a little more expensive. But yeah, so why do I bring this up? Well, here at Butte College, we also want to utilize the 10-foot rule to our advantage and do it wisely, which is essentially to be able to connect with the student and create that welcoming environment. So I'm going to go ahead and break down to you how we can efficiently utilize this 10-foot rule. And it's going to be with a couple different things here. So it really just starts with the eye contact, which is the name of this commitment that I want you guys to commit to. So eye contact is really important because that's how we're inviting the student in. By making that eye contact, that's the initial acknowledgement of the student, how they're seen. You're creating that connection and bridge with the student to begin with. Because if you just don't make eye contact at all, you don't have any point to begin with then. Especially nowadays, we're so technology driven. We're wanting to really nurture that eye connection and more personal kind of experience with the student because often they're looking down at their phones and we're wanting to really engage with them with the eye contact. That's where it really starts. Second, we're wanting to smile and greet the student, of course. That sounds kind of like common sense, but following up with a smile and greeting, good morning, happy Friday, happy hump day, hope your day is well, whatever it is you want to say, yeah. So you want to smile and greet the student. And then lastly, I want to challenge you all to follow up with a question. So once you smile and greet them, sometimes you're on the go, it's not really feasible to ask this question, but you want to follow up with a question if you really have the space and opportunity to do so. So something like, how's your day going? How are your classes going? You look lost, like, can I help you with something? Can I walk you over to where you need to? So asking that question is really, the cherry on top of that 10-foot rule to breaking that barrier a little more and really building that connection with the student. So, I mean, you might not make this like deep connection, get to know the student, but believe me, you're gonna make an impression on them and that's what they're gonna remember. They're gonna remember that the staff saw them and cared about them and they're more likely to reach out for help and overall be more successful. So I promise you that they're gonna light up and you're gonna change the course of their day by making that eye contact to begin with and smiling and greeting them and then asking that question. So just keep that in mind for next time you are, walking by a student, anything like that. So that's the 10-foot rule of eye contact, and we're gonna go on to Meredith now. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so thanks so much. So from the eye contact, right? So we've identified the Butte College employee. Now that employee is engaged with you and you still have a question, you still need some help. So that's where I come in. I want to make sure that the help that you're giving that student is accurate and actually helpful. So something I'm super passionate about is interdepartmental awareness. So this is just, again, just briefly really knowing about what other departments do, what the resources here on campus are, and also how students can access those resources, right? So not just what we have to offer, but hey, what's that process a little bit, and who to connect with in that department. So to make sure y'all are awake, quick quiz here, and if you're from this office, do not answer. But what office would you send a student to for a SAP appeal? Kevin?
Counseling?
Ooh, no, actually, yeah, that could work, that could work. All right, financial aid, you kick in. FA, right, financial aid, good, thank you for, all right, now y'all can't answer this question. Where is the TRIO office located, and name one of their 2 retention specialists? Oh, Jolie, yeah.
Second floor, the SAS, and Yoli, and Allison, and
Retention specialist.
isn't it Allison?
Kevin, Allison, Kevin. All right, last one here. What office would you send a student to for a chosen name? Yeah. A&R, right, admissions records, or the Queer Research Center is another place as well. All right, so kind of a little fun here, but just to show you we have a whole lot of things happening on campus that students, will need to interface with. So we don't expect to know everything. You don't have to know everyone on campus, where they work. That's my goal, but that's not everybody's goal. I get it. Not everyone's like a natural extrovert. But the goal is to kind of like educate ourselves, right? So I really want to push you all to start getting out there, start pushing yourself to really know the programs we offer on campus, the resources we have here, and how our students can take advantage of them, right? It doesn't really help me if you come up and ask me, hey, I want to do a chosen name, and you're like, I don't even know what that is, right? Like, what is that? Tell me about it, right? Then we look like we don't know, and it's fine to say you don't know, but let me help you find that, right? So again, let's just try to push ourselves. How can we get out of our comfort zone? How do we get to know other people in other departments so that we can better serve our students? All right, again, I'm a natural extrovert. If you aren't, here's some other ways that you can do it. Attend campus events, right? That's the easiest one, right? We had a bunch of events going on yesterday around campus. TRIO hosted an open house, and they're very lovely and friendly people, and they have food. So go to events, start talking to them, talk and learn a little bit while you're there, who the employees are and what they do. Read the campus announcements. We all delayed it. I'm guilty of that. But go ahead and actually start reading it, right? There's like a wealth of information there about what's happening on campus, from student life, student activities, and different groups here on campus and what they do. And then if you don't know, check out the website, right? Another thing that you might want to do, and this is kind of throwing it out there for everyone, a little challenge maybe, host an open house for your department. So a long time ago we did this, I think with financial aid, it was called a snack attack. So admissions and records took some snacks over, and it was kind of like just a very brief little kind of getting to know you. Everyone know the song? Getting to know you. And so that was the idea of like just kind of like connecting with your community. These are our fellow employees, but while you're there, you can learn a little bit about what they do, how they do it, and how they serve their students, right? And all of this gets back, how do we serve our students better, right? How do they feel more connected and get what they need? Another thing you might do, invite a colleague to a staff meeting. Like maybe you work with them a lot, maybe you're going to collaborate with them, bring them over into your house, make them comfortable and help them get to know your office and what you do there. And just real quick example here as to why this is super effective, right? Tying all these, as you'll see all these tying together. But I had met a student at the beginning of the spring term, didn't think much of it, kind of interacted with them, gave them a little impromptu tour to their class. And then later during the summer, that same student was coming back on campus and they were taking a math class. And as you know, summer here is a little empty, a bit of a ghost town. So anyway, the student recognized me, right? Identified me, saw me again. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? Again, I engaged, right? Eye contact and a little hello. And then just asked them what they needed. Well, they needed to check out a calculator for their statistics class. All right, well, I knew Elise, who's not here, but she was one of our employees over in the math department. And so I walked with the student over to the math department, connected with Elise, and got the student what they needed. I didn't know if they did calculators. I don't know. But you know what, again, it's that, and that's what I mean. You don't have to know everything, but how do you get them to where they need to go to then help them on that process? So tying those all together so that I can do the warm handoff with the student. And I'm going to have Janine talk about warm handoffs.
Thank you so much, Meredith. I really appreciate that. Another way of getting to know staff is by joining Caring Campus. As a new person here, I just started in March and became permanent in July. So it has been, thank you. It's been really nice getting to know everybody on Caring Campus and the departments that they work for, and also walking them over with students to introduce them. So it's just a nice warm referral. Can anybody here tell me what a warm handoff is? Damon, maybe?
Yeah, so walking in there and then greeting that person and welcoming them, getting to know their name, and then you hand it over.
Exactly. So, there we go.
David's the king
Prize-
of warm handoffs,
Yeah,
by the way.
prize for David. So, I'm here with Tracy. This is a real life situation and real life student. She was amazing. I actually met her over at the Chico Center, and she was a little nervous to come onto campus. And she's a re-entry student. She is CalWorks student as well. She said, I have a little bit of anxiety coming on campus. So I met her at the Chico Center. I told her that I would join her at the arts parking lot because, as you guys probably know, it's tough to get into the counseling center. So I said 7:45, let's do it together. It's as hard as to get an appointment as Taylor Swift tickets, so let's do this. So I met her up at the arts department, and I walked her through a couple of different departments, and I walked her over to the financial aid department, cleared up some holds, walked her over to admissions and rec, as well as the EOPS department and TRIO. So it was a really successful day, and Tracy has been coming back, learning the different resource centers and just having the best support here on campus. And after that, she even said, I wouldn't have gotten through the day without you. So each person in this room makes a difference to students. And I just wanted to reiterate the warm handoffs. If you guys don't have time to physically walk the students to the departments, you can also give them a call ahead of time, let them know that the student is on their way, maybe provide the student ID. Also email the department with the student ID, the contact information, and CC the student so that they know that you care. So I know a lot of you guys are already doing this, but it's nice to just have a gentle reminder, and it really does make a difference with the students. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass you over to Alicia.
All right, okay, so now I'm going to be doing warm welcomes. So I know most of you have heard about that one saying, you only get one chance to make a good first impression. And it's true, right? You do only get one chance. And so we can do the same thing at the welcome activities that we have on campus. So some of those may be like the Roadrunner Rush event or the Ask Me booths. We have the new extended welcome weeks. There's just a lot of them that we can participate in. And so these are so crucial for student success because, as we know, how many of you have participated in at least one of those? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. And so I know most of you that have attended those, you realize when you're there, geez, these students really needed our help these first few weeks of the semester. Like, that was rough. And so, especially for those students who are first-time college students or first-generation students, navigating college is hard. So trying to remember that, right? Knowing that we're there to help them. And so that's how we make a good first impression, right? By letting them know we're here for you. We're tabling, we're gonna get you to your classroom. I'm tabling here about CAS, but you wanna know where LRC is? Okay, I work there, let me walk you there, even though that has nothing to do, right, with the tabling. So a lot of the times we're answering those questions, and so it's just crucial to student success, right? Okay, and then I have a quick question for you. So raise your hand if you work in student services. Okay, yeah, quite a few of you. How many of you do not work in student services? Raise your hand. Hey, yeah, we do, yes. Okay, so basically, for those of you that don't work in student services, or maybe you haven't attended one of these, warm welcome events, I encourage you to attend the new ones next semester. And if you do, of course, you're going to contribute to that student success. And I have some tips here for you. So when you're at those events, you definitely want to greet some students. And it can be simple, just like a hi, good morning, a wave. And then smiles always work, right? They can have a really good impact in somebody's day, so smiling. And you want to be ready to help, for sure. You want to be attentive, check out the space. Is there like a student that looks lost? Maybe you approach them. And then definitely be in a spot that's approachable, right? So if a student can just easily come to your table and ask for a question, then you're doing good. And then lastly, last questions. So if you have attended any of these events or just an event in general where you talked to a lot of people or there was a lot of people, how many of you were energized after the event for the whole day? You gained so much energy. Raise your hand. Yay, great, some extroverts here, okay. And how about raise your hand if you were tired. You're like, I need to go take a nap. I need to, recover for tomorrow, right? So ensuring we have those rotating shifts is so important so that you're engaging and you have the energy. And that's it for my warm welcomes.
How about a nice warm round of applause for all of our presenters giving me the high five behaviors. Thank you so much. That was good. So now you're all ready, right? You got it. Congratulations. Welcome to Caring Campus. We're going to see you at the next meeting. You're on a committee. I'm just kidding. So if you do want to be more involved with Caring Campus, we are always looking for more people to come in and help us make this grow, continue it going. Just so you know, the big kickoff is just that. This is just a kickoff. We're going to be continually doing monthly activities. We may be helping to facilitate some of these open houses in different departments to get you around. We're going to be getting some more swag. We're going to be planning our welcome weeks for next semester, and of course more and more opportunities to connect. If you have questions, we were going to have a Q&A, but we went a little bit long, but that's okay. Pull out your phone, go even click this little QR code that'll take you to our Caring Campus landing page, and on that is a feedback form that you can fill out. So if you have questions, if you have feedback, anything that we can do to improve and to help and support you in supporting our students, we are down with it. Thank you. And we will be, Caring Campus does meet the fourth Wednesday of every month. It's a public meeting, so feel free to come on over, bring your friends, wear your shirts, and we'll see you.